Alright, what's going on, you guys? Well, time for a new video. This time it's going to be another request fulfilled. First off, I'm going to start off by looking at the computer screen here. This is my channel. 210 subscribers. That is awesome, guys. Thank you so much for sticking around with me and watching my videos. 62,500 or 252 views. Again, that's awesome. I never thought I'd get up that high. I never thought I'd get over 100 subscribers, but it did happen. So you guys are awesome. Thanks a lot for sticking with me and watching all the videos I put up. I really can't seem to find a steady flow to go with. This is my most popular video, my school bus collection video, at 16,560 views so far. Next being this bus tour and then this video. And then my truck stuff and my RC stuff doesn't really get many views. Even I've got this Bigfoot video, only 654 views. The Wheelie King videos, they usually get around 50 views. But whatever. I just put them up there just for fun, just because. Anyhow, let's move on over here. On my let's see, what is it? 4-wheel steer and upgrades to my Wheelie King video. I have several comments on here. Charlie Morris had requested to do a video of how you set up the 4-wheel steer and how you link the new radio to the receiver on the new truck. Well, not the new truck, but with the new system. So, as I said in my comments and my reply, I'm going to go ahead and do that and get that video. So, Mr. Charlie Norris, this is for you, bud. Alright, I figured I'd go ahead and move to outside since the sun's really bright out here and it's a lot easier to see details with the sunlight rather than inside the house. So yeah, here's my truck. Currently got the Gravedigger body mounted onto it. I'm going to go ahead and take that off so we can get to the underneath. Maybe. And I do have the tires off here. It's just a little bit easier to explain things when there's no tires, so that way you can see what I'm talking about. Sometimes that Velcro really likes to stick and sometimes it does not. Put that one down there. And alright. Obviously just my same setup as I've had before. The only thing that's new is the shocks. I did a dual shocks mount with my hot racing shocks and my stock Wheelie King shocks. Take a look here, just a regular 27 turn motor. There's my receiver, big bundle of wires there. My rear links, my rear servo, which is just the stock HPI servo. And then my front servo, which was from Crawford Performance Engineering. Awesome servo. Anyhow, let's go ahead and get to how I did the 4-wheel steering setup on the truck, since that seems to be the main question right now. So anyway, I went on eBay, searched around, and as I posted before in a video, purchased a 2.4 gigahertz radio that was actually from a ground pounder truck that Red Cat makes. It's called the Ground Pounder, and it comes set up with 4-wheel steer already. Once you purchase the ground pounder, it's already set up. So I got that radio to replace my stock HPI radio. It came with a 2.4 gigahertz receiver, which you'll need obviously to put your radio in there, because it's the only thing it's paired up with to receive that signal. And it's just set up just how it was stock. You've got the receiver mounted right there. You've got your ESC plugged into your receiver and both servos plugged into the receiver. So when you mount a servo, you mount it down here and you run your wiring all the way up here and plug that into your receiver. Same thing with that back servo, mounted down here. Got wires run up here, come into an extension, and plugged into that receiver. So that's how you do the 4-wheel steer on that. You just plug that into your servo, and once you have your receiver set up with your radio, it'll just go act as normal and do your steering how it's supposed to. Alright, next question asked was, how do you pair up the new radio to the new receiver? Well, I had the same question. I had to do a quick Google search and that found the answer. I'm not going to do it right now because I don't really want to unpair it at the moment. But what you do is get your new radio. After you've got everything plugged in that you want plugged in, take the new radio, turn that on, and it's got your display on there. And on the new radio, actually new receiver, sorry, it's got a small button over here that you push. And you hold that down for 5 seconds, and that LED light starts flashing. And once it starts flashing like that, you hold the select button on this remote down for the same amount of time, and it makes a noise saying that it's already paired to the receiver. It's pretty easy to do. And once you get that done, your truck's all ready to go. I've got my battery plugged in, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the truck on. Alright, as you see, radio's on. I've got, my front steering working, and obviously my throttle and everything's working how it's supposed to, so that's good. The next question was how do you switch it from four-wheel steer to regular steer? Well, that's all based off of the remote. The remote or radio or whatever you want to call it, it's got different settings programmed into it. As you can see right now, that little LCD screen is showing you front wheel drive. Those front two wheels are turning. You hit this button down here on the radio, and that switches it to four-wheel steer. And that's the crab walk position four-wheel steer, which means that your tires are going the same direction. Tires turn left, tires turn right. Front and rear tires both turn the same direction, which just allows you to crab walk the truck at a certain angle. Next setting is, I believe, just traditional four-wheel steer where the wheels and tires turn the opposite directions. And that helps for your donuts and for your tight turns. Then you've also got another option here. It's just the rear steer by itself. It's just like the front steer, except the back tires are the only ones that turn. The front tires do not. Then once you cycle through all that, you just go back to front steering, just like a traditional setup. Alright, hopefully if any of you had questions, about that setup or doing that four-wheel steering mod to the Wheelie King, hopefully that answered a little bit of it. Otherwise, there's a huge variety of information out there on Google if you get stuck, during your setup, and I don't have a tutorial video over it. That's just kind of video I just did right there, just kind of the basics on how to do it, to program the radio. It's just as simple as that, just holding that button on that receiver and letting the radio pair itself. It pretty much does the work by itself. And then setting up the four-wheel steer is just obviously just setting your servos in the right place and plugging them in. Now anyway, while we're on the topic of my truck here, I did want to mention that it's going to be going through another stage in its life. Got a set of 4 Clod Buster tires and wheels. And for those of you who don't know what a Clod Buster is, it's made by Tamiya RC, and back a while ago they had a truck called the Clod Buster, and it's just a popular, it's used in a wide variety of, custom RC trucks. People like to use the axles off of them and put them on a new chassis and everything. So it's just a huge step up. These tires are just a huge step up from what I was running before. The wheels, obviously, you can see that they're very, very wide. They look pretty pretty similar to a real monster truck wheel. And obviously, what you're going to notice, mounting it up to a Wheelie King, that the mount's different. My Wheelie King 12mm hex here is not going to fit this wheel properly. So it's going to be a lot wider, and I have an adapter kit ordered from Crawford Performance Engineering. and they have an adapter kit that's just the hex that leads into, you know, what you need to mount it on the back of the Clodbuster tires. So it's going to be definitely awesome. You know, when I get that, it's going to bring a whole new look to this truck. And obviously with that upgrade, I'm going to have to do some more upgrades, you know, such as some metal gearing in my differentials and some transmission gear, and probably upgrade the motor to keep up, you know, the power of these big tires. You know, tires are kind of something else I wanted to go over real quick. These things are huge. You know, these are massive tires compared to, actually let's go ahead and compare it to the stock Wheelie King tire. That's just, I mean, that's a huge difference between the stock, you know, 112 scale Wheelie King tire and the 110 scale Clod tire. I mean, it's going to make a huge, noticeable difference on this little truck. I'm going to go ahead and throw up a quick mock-up real quick of how the truck's going to look. It's pretty much going to look, when I get everything mounted, it's pretty much going to look like that. You know, these huge, wide, tall tires on the Wheelie King chassis, and you know, it doesn't look too bad. You know, you still could see all the chassis and the links, the shocks. It definitely fits better with the Gravedigger bodies and the other 110 scale bodies that I have. My 112 scale Bounty Hunter and my Iron Outlaw bodies probably won't look as good with the Clod tires on there, but that's why I got the adapters. Instead of changing axles, I got the adapters. You know, so I could just switch back and forth between the smaller tires, the larger tires as needed. But I'm planning on running, you know, Gravedigger body or Raminator body or just a bigger body on the truck anyway. And yeah, build's still going, still coming along really nicely. And I'm thinking, you know, hopefully that high-powered servo that I got from CPE is powerful enough to turn these big wheels and tires when I get them on. But we'll see. It's coming in a later video. Anyhow, guys, as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for your video requests, as I fulfilled this request and a previous one. You guys know that you could pretty much let me know what you want to see involving RC trucks, involving my real truck, buses, whatever. Just let me know. Did want to mention, I went ahead and moved my YouTube channel. Google just had me do it, like, embedded into a Google Plus page or something. I still don't quite understand how to work it out. I don't know where my messages are going and where my, you know, my comments on my videos are going yet. So it might be a while before I get to some of your guys' comments. But otherwise, see y'all later.